Hi students. Today we are back to see the third part of natural vegetation, land and water. So in this lesson, we already have talked about land and water. Today we'll focus on natural vegetation and wildlife. So as you know, in nature, you can see that there are two types of living things. One, trees means the world of trees, plants, isn't it? Means full botany is dedicated, we have dedicated to that, isn't it? And second, animals which can move, isn't it? So we have given special branch for them, and that is zoology. So in this way you can see in the world two types of means wildlife and vegetation, two living things are there. So in this we will try to understand where which animals are that much dominant, then how urbanization or the activities of human being are proving to be disastrous for this natural vegetation and wildlife, and how we can stop that, how we can control that. So let's begin the next part. First of all, we'll try to understand some words regarding this natural vegetation and wildlife. Biome, biosphere and ecosystem. Let's try to understand this first. First of all, will the word which is not given here but you should be knowing about it, that is biome. Biome. Biome means a specific climatic zone. That area, it is called biome. Means in that area that much temperature is there, or that much currents or waves are there, okay, winds are there. So conclusively we will call it biome. So this is about the climate. Then if we talk about the living things, then there is a specific area in which many deers live, many wild boars live. So that area we'll call it as a biome of wild boars. Okay, so biome is a territory, or we can say region, where a specific climate is there and specific community of animals or the trees located. Okay, so that is first, that is biome. Second, biosphere. What is a biosphere? Biosphere means where, means around the earth. As you know, there are five layers: exosphere, lithosphere, mesosphere, troposphere, isn't it? So all these are spheres. So but in all these five spheres there is no life. Of course, in exosphere there is no oxygen also, but still in this four oxygen is there, but there is no living things. So there are only three layers where you can find the living things. Okay, and they are lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Actually, five layers we talked about. Then let's come to the earth. On earth, when you will come to know, lithosphere is different, hydrosphere and atmosphere. So all these three words, they are related to the earth. Lithosphere means solid earth, rocks, land, soil. Okay, so this is a lithosphere, means on the land animals are living or the plants are living. Then hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means water, where the animals which live in the water, that is fishes, then shark, isn't it? Then whales, many such kind of animals, they live in water also. And it is said means it is scientifically proved that maximum of living organism, it is located in the oceans, that is in hydrosphere. Then third one, that is atmosphere. In atmosphere you can see, means in the air. In the air you can see many birds are there. Then second thing, bacteria are there, very small insects whom we can't see by our open eyes, isn't it? So in this way, living organism, it exists only in these three layers, or we can say these spheres. So including all these three we call it biosphere. So biosphere is a conclusion of these three spheres: hydrosphere, lithosphere and atmosphere. Then in the biosphere living beings are interrelated, as you know very well. Means if tiger has to live, he has to hunt the deer. So the tiger is dependent upon the deer. Then if you come to our farms, you will come to know that if snakes are there, because of snakes, rats just run away. So the life of snakes dependent upon rats or the frogs, isn't it? So they are interrelated, interdependent. So this interdependence, interrelativity, this is called, for their survival, this is called ecosystem. So this life supporting system is known as the ecosystem. Clear? So we have discussed about biome, biosphere, and what is ecosystem. Now let's talk about the vegetation and the wildlife. Vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources, isn't it? In our day-to-day life, we need the vegetation, means all the plants, all these things, all the trees. Because of trees, there is maximum oxygen we get, and for our wood, we also require the trees, isn't it? Then wildlife, there are many usage of wildlife. Means if any community of animals it decreases, then it disturbs the balance of the nature. Just imagine. Means earlier the people used to say, if dogs are in the door, then cat will be inside the home, and if cat is in the home, then the rat will be in his nest, isn't it? So in this way they are interdependent. But if there are no dogs, then cats will come out and the rats will also come out. Means, of course, this is one example how we are interdependent upon these animals. So they are very valuable resources. There are innumerable uses of plants. Means which are the uses? That is, we use them as a herb. We There are medicinal uses. Then in our day-to-day life also we need many trees and plants. There are innumerable usage of plants, and it depends. Means usage, or we can say the use of any plant. It depends which kind of plant it is. It can be a medicinal plant, or it may give us a wood, isn't it? So it depends upon the category of the plant. Then wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, as well as the aquatic life forms. We know it. They provide us milk, meat, hides, and wool. All these things are provided by the animals. So we have divided them into two categories: domestic animals and wild animals. So this is what about the animals. Then about birds, then insects and aquatic life forms also. So they all provide us milk, meat, hides, and wool. Insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers, and have an important role to play as decomposers in the ecosystem. There is a most important factor about the birds or the insects. Just means earlier it used to happen. Body, if any body is rotting, so at that time these birds used to come there and they will just decompose it. Okay, or we can say the bacteria. If we talk about bacteria, then if you want to decompose something, then you need bacteria, these small insects, isn't it? So this is the importance of insects in our life. Though directly we don't have any use of them, direct use, but indirectly, if we want to live peacefully in this world or in well condition, then we need insects. Many of our things that we eat in our day-to-day life, it is full of insects, or sorry, it is full of bacteria. For example, curd that you eat, without bacteria curd is not made. In our mouth itself, there are 25 types of bacteria are there in our mouth. And in our surrounding also, wherever you live in atmosphere, there are types of bacteria, but they are also useful because they help in decomposition. If you throw something, then it must be decomposed, otherwise it will create a stringent smell or odor, isn't it? So it's very important. Then the birds feed on insects and act as decomposers as well. So if there are more insects, then this is the duty of duty means they feed upon that. That's why we will in just I said that it's the duty of the birds to kill them. Let me tell you one example of China. Once in China, these people thought that the sparrows, they are eating grains from our farms when the crops are standing. So what to do? So the government ordered the soldiers to kill all the sparrows, and they killed all the sparrows. Okay, so of course you search about it how they killed it, but they killed it. There were ways for that. So they killed the sparrows. So where there are no sparrows, then insects grew, and insects, when they started invading upon the farms, then again they have to search for new medicines that will kill these insects, because earlier these sparrows, they used to eat them, isn't it? So this, in this way, there is a cycle of the nature. One insect or one community of living being, they are interdependent. So if you break this cycle, then it will be disturbed. So that's why we take care of animals also, birds also, insects also. They are very useful to us. Animals, big or small, all are integral to maintaining balance in the ecosystem. Now, we'll talk about the distribution of natural vegetation. So we talked about the wildlife. Okay, now let's talk about the distribution of natural vegetation. Basically, of course, there are many types of forest are there, but basically there are two types of forest: evergreen forest and deciduous forest. So let's try to understand each term one by one. Let's talk about evergreen forest first. Evergreen. By word itself, you will come to know that they are evergreen. Okay, so means they are located in tropical area. As this area is a moderate, that's why they are very what we can say dense forests are there. Means you can see the forest of Amazon, forest of Africa, isn't, they are very dense. If you go to Assam, so they are very dense. Then pine, juniper, all these trees, not juniper but pine, can be found here. Okay, then sal, teak, etc. All these trees can be found here, and they are always green, and they are so much dense. As they are green, that's why they are dense always. Then second type of forest is deciduous forest. This kind of forest, they are located above 25 degree 25-degree north to 20 to 50-degree north. Same with the south direction also, 25 degrees south to 55 degrees south. Okay, so in this way, in these latitudes they are located. These kind of forest, they are of course not evergreen, and these forests are located, means the region I told you where they are located exactly. So in this way, we have divided the natural vegetation in two types. Actually, there are other forms also there of the forest. Then now we talked about these two things: wildlife and natural vegetation. But it's our foremost duty to protect them. From whom? First of all, it's from human beings. Okay, because we are utilizing them excessively. We don't have any control upon our greed. We are just cutting the trees, we are just colonizing the world, and we are just not thinking about the world of the animals and world of the plants. And that's why when the government of different countries realized this, they made one law that in each and every country, on the land there should be 33%, at least 33% forest should be there. Only then balance will be there of the nature. So how to conserve the wildlife and the natural vegetation? So changes of climate and human interferences can cause the loss of natural habitats for the plants and animals. Both we are responsible for that, nature also, and human interferences also. Many species have become vulnerable or endangered, and some are on the verge of extinction. Why? See, actually, as I told you, directly we are not killing the animals. But when we kill their habitat, when we cut the trees for roads, for construction of the buildings, or for mining, or for anything, when we cut the trees, we decolonize the animals. We we are just snatching away their habitat, and if their homes are not like us, 1 BHK or 2 BHK, isn't it? They need big forest. So when we are cutting their habitat, they have to move somewhere, and if they don't get it, gradually they die. So there are many animals and many birds, they are on the verge of extinction, and many of them they are extinct from the face of the earth. So what are the responsible factors for this? They are deforestation, cutting the trees, soil erosion, constructional activities, as I told you, forest fires, tsunami, and landslides are some of the human-made and natural factors which together accelerate the process of extinction of these great natural resources. The animals are poached. तस्करी की जाती है animals की. For example, let's take example of elephant. Then you will come to know very easily. Elephants are killed. Of course, it's illegal, isn't it? You can't kill the elephant. Means not only elephant. You can't kill any of the animals. So still there are the people, those who capture the capture elephants. They just kill them, and after killing, they just take out their tusk, okay, or we can say their teeth, because the teeth, it's very useful and it has a lot of price in the market, black market. So the people does this poaching. We call it in our Hindi taskari, okay. So why do people do this? The animals are poached for collection and illegal trade of hides for their skin. Skin is very useful. Then skins, nails, teeth, horns, as well as feathers. So all these things, either they can be utilized for medicinal purposes, recreational purposes, or we can say in design they are used. So they are very important, and in some chemical factories also they are used. So in this way, animals are poached. There is a balance in the environment if the relative number of species is not disturbed. It must be there, otherwise the balance will be disturbed. Due to indiscriminate killings, several birds and animals have either become extinct or are on the verge of extinction. Many countries have passed laws, as I told you earlier, declaring that the trades as well as killing of birds and animals are illegal. So for example, in India, before some years, Amitabh Bachchan, he was advertising for the tigers, save tigers. There was a campaign by the government, and he was ambassador for that. Amitabh Bachchan he used to say, "Save tigers. We have to take care of tigers. We can't kill them because number of the tigers is decreasing." Okay, so in this way there are some animals, those who are on the verge of extinction, government has made laws for them not to kill. Conservation of plants and animals is an ethical duty of every citizen, so we must consider about it, isn't it? So such a beauty that lies on our beautiful earth, on our mother earth, elephants, tigers, these are about lions, okay, deers. We have, it's our foremost duty, as we are human beings, and we are the most intelligent species, isn't it, from the animals. So it's our duty, we are like elder brother, we have to take care of all these animals and all these planting systems. Only then all together we can survive on this earth, because we are completely interdependent. Okay, so we will think about it and take care next time. So because of all these factors, you can see the picture: forest fire, animals are killed. So in this way many factors are there which are killing these animals. So here are some glossary, you can see some new words. Okay, I hope I am very clear to you in this third part, and again you listen first, second, third, then you will understand it properly, revise it again and again, and study and study and completely use the holidays for your benefit. So next lecture I'll upload very soon for you. Till then, thank you so much, have a nice day.